Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review. And since it's Women's History Month, I'm here today to talk to you about All I Want to Do, the 1998 movie review. So this movie has a couple of different titles. All I Want to Do is one of the main ones. Strike is the other, and The Hairy Bird is the other. I don't know why it has three different titles. There's always been like something odd. I always like wonder just like why, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, this is a coming of age, like feel good movie. It's just one of the most hilarious, funniest movies I've ever seen. Like, trust me, when you watch this movie, almost every second of every minute you will be laughing because it's always something humorous coming out of it, and it's just literally insane, like just the stuff that happens. And so like I had a great time watching this movie because with the craziness that's going overseas right now, it's just nice to sit, just like not think about that for a while, like watch something that's hilarious and just laugh. And you will literally laugh every minute. It's always a funny joke. Now, interesting enough, this movie is loosely based off of real life events. I say loosely, like very, 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 very loosely. Um, Basically, what it does is about like a all female boarding school, and so the thing about like a group of girls that who are already friends, and like they just like live out their days at school having fun, getting into trouble, doing what they want until the unthinkable happens when the school's about to go co-ed. And so they devised a way. Well, the girls actually split up after that because in the two groups, because some want the boys there and others don't. And so, like, the two that don't, they devised a plan to get rid of the boys. And it's a hilarious plan. And so, like, the school in the movie is called Mrs. Goddard's like school, but in real life is called believe it's Rosemary Hall. I believe, yeah, it's Rosemary Hall, and that's where Glenn Close went, and also the writer and director of this movie. And my God, she wrote a great movie. Like I would prefer if she would have her own TV show than like some of these other showrunners that are doing things like on the CW and Freeform, because she is so much better at writing than they are. And so like yeah, like you have got to watch this movie. Now, the writer and director of this movie, she said that the school actually did go co-ed. Her school, it went co-ed after she graduated and stuff. And actually, there's a song that was written and sung by her, Glenn Close, and some of her other classmates from back in the day called "The Hairy Bird," and it plays at the end credits of like the movie. And so the writer director is Sarah um, Colonel Chan. And so, like, yeah, she basically just based this off of like certain like little events she saw here and there, made the rest up fictional, and put a little bit of herself into like every other character and stuff. And this movie has a star-studded cast, but the thing is, back in the day, a lot of them wasn't even famous at that time. Like Darth Vader himself, Hayden Christensen, he's in this movie. He has a small role. Like most of the people I'm gonna name now, they have like a tiny role. Matthew Lawrence, who plays Dennis, he has a small role. I forgot his name. Something Ashmore. Sean Ashmore. Sean Ashmore. I can't remember if he's from Smallville or the X-Men movies. I forget which twin is which, but he has a very small role in this. And so does the dude from like the Sandlot. He's in this movie. He has a bit of a bigger role than the other ones. And so like I'm trying to think of some other people. Oh, Katarina Sorson. I can't believe she's from like Grey's Anatomy. She's in this with a small role, and it's just like it's insane. Like all the people who are like in this movie at that time. Um, but the main cast. Now, them people you know. Kristen Dunst, she plays Verena von Steffen. She is the leader of the group. And I forgot the name of the group. Cause like she forms this like all female group. Of course, it's all female school, but she forms this group because she likes to break the rules. She doesn't like authority. She's like just like the troublemaker of like the school, who's always getting in trouble. And so I'm trying to think of the name. It's something ravioli. Um, Daughters of something ravioli. It's like D something R. I forgot the name of it. And so what it is in their group, they like to hang out, and their hangout spot is like in the attic that they found when Momo was like walking around and just found the door to the building that's covered with like bushes and vines. And so that little attic is like their little hangout spot where the maintenance men put like a bunch of used furniture there and they just use it, and there's tons of ravioli cans of it, so they just eat it and stuff. And they talk about their dreams and their desires and what they want to be when they grow up and how they each going to help each other and stuff. She wants to run her own magazine called Moi, and so it's kind of like Vogue and everything. And so that's what she wants to do when she grows up. She's very headstrong. She's very determined. When things don't go the way she wants, she makes stuff happen. And so, like, she does not want boys at that school at all. And so, when, like, they find out it's gonna go co-ed, she is furious and everything. And she like the dialogue in this movie is unforgettable. This movie needs more praise than what's given to it. Like nobody talks about this movie, nobody thinks about this movie, and people should. It is on streaming now. It's on Apple Plus and Amazon Prime. Just pay for it. And it used to be on YouTube. That's how I first watched it for free because somebody uploaded it illegally and stuff. Then I later bought it like on DVD. And so the thing about her, she doesn't want no boys there whatsoever. And she doesn't want to like mess around with no boys and get pregnant. And so like when she devises a plan, like her and Momo, I'll get to Momo later, they decide they're gonna get the boys drunk. So and so she needs a couple of stuff. It's like one thing she does is that she loves to smoke. So the dude who's like, the works in the cafeteria, she bribes him with money, he gives her smokes. But then she wants tons of liquor bottles. And he's like, no, I don't want to get in trouble. She's like, I need empty bottles. He's like, I can do that. So he hits her up for $50. And she's like, $50? Because back then, because this is set in 1963. And so, $50 was a lot of money back then. And so she devises a plan. She's gonna get the guys drunk. And then after she gets them drunk, she's gonna make them puke and everything. And so let me get into her accomplice, Momo. Momo is played by Merritt Weaver, and she is the brains of the group. She wants to study really hard and, like, make the best grade she can, but she also, like I said, gets in trouble too. And so she wants to get into MIT, and she wants to create stuff and, like, make a cure for something that's uncurable right now. And so she worries that when boys come to the school, they're gonna get overlooked. And then when she tries to apply to MIT, if she applies with a bunch of boys from the same school, they're gonna overlook her and pick the boys. Cause that's just how it was back then. And so she is the one who makes the moonshine, and she makes it with her lab kit and everything, her chemistry set. That's what it is. And she makes it 1,000 proof. And she mixes it with apple juice. Let's just say a couple of sips of that, and them boys were hammered. Oh boy. Ah, Monica Keena, she plays Tinka Parker. Tinka Parker, I love this woman's voice, man. It's so heavenly and everything. So basically, she's just kind of like, I don't know. She's more like the sultry kind of type, a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like she's the only one in the group who's ever got laid and everything. And so she's really happy when she finds out the boys want to like come to school. And like Verena, she's all like, oh, like wait, like I forgot what she says. Like I said, the dialogue is like awesome. Like she said something about the world is like boy, girl, something like that. And she's like, no, the world is boy on top of girls. and so, and so, like, they always like making fun of her, talking about how she's always gonna be the first one to get pregnant and all that. So her life goal is to like be. This is her words now. Be an actress, something slash slut. And when she becomes famous, what is it? Ooh, I forgot the other girl's name. Um, Jeez, what's the other girl's name? I forgot. Momo. Jeez, no, Momo's. Anyway, I forget. So anyway, one of the girls gonna be a therapist and help her with her problems and some other mess. And so like, I forgot the other girl's name. I gotta bring it up sooner or later. And so she is constantly being pursued by this one boy named Snake. Now, Snake, he is like a town boy, and when they go into town, he sees her at like a cafe, and like he's just smitten by her, falling in love. And even though she's like really slutty and stuff, she doesn't like him. And so he's like all up in her space, trying to like get with her. And she's all like, "No, we haven't been introduced." How they talk back then, and he's all like, "Introduced? Is that how people like meet in your world and stuff like that?" And he literally pursues her throughout the entire movie. He's constantly breaking in and out of the school. And like he has like a forklift, and he's on top of the forklift banging on her window talking about, come on girl, tonight we get introduced. And then so like him and his friends, they call the flat critters. Basically they like taking pictures of dead animals on the road. And so they like break into like the school during the dance, and they beat up the boys supposed to go co-ed there and take their uniforms and stuff. And so like towards the end of the movie, they do finally like get together and everything. 'Cause she starts to have an affection for him, and also because like he saved or he beat up the dude who like harassed like her friend and stuff. Now, Gabby Hoffman, she plays Odette St. Clair, and she's the one who starts off the movie. She is the new girl at school. She came from a co-ed school, and now because she was almost caught like about to do it with her boyfriend, she gets sent to this all-girls school. She does not want to go there because she's afraid, like there's tons of like lesbians there, and she's about to bite the hairy bird and stuff like that. And she comes up with this really cool catchphrase called "Up your Ziggy with a Wawa brush." And if you don't know what that means, take your imaginary guess. There are so many innuendos in this movie; it's insane. Now, when she starts off at the school, she is roommates with Tinka and Verena, and she cannot stand them because those two are like best friends and they're like insane. And she does not want to be there, and she does not want to be their friends. But then eventually she does come around to them because she does see like how funny they are, and then they do try to help her out because she wants to sneak away from school and meet her boyfriend. So even though Verena doesn't approve of her, want her to lay on her back with her legs up like a bug, she does try to help her like hook up with like Dennis and stuff like that. And so that makes her come around to like liking them and stuff. And they become like great friends. Now she's very political and everything. She wants to be like a congresswoman or something like that. And she's always using like political terms and like this and that. And she loves debate. And I love how each girl has their own personality. And so when she finds out the school's going co-ed, she's thrilled for it. and so like when Dennis comes to sneak in and do it with her, she wants him to bring condoms, but he brings in some type of contraceptive. It goes haywire. And she realizes, it just ain't gonna happen between him and her. And so they're just not gonna do it. But then she's pursued in this movie by Mr. Dewey, a teacher. He's the only male teacher there, and he tries to get with his female students. And he's literally about to attack her until the flat critters come in and save her and everything. And so they rip his clothes off and make him like go down in Mrs. McVane's like office and stuff. Now, when she finds out that the dudes from like the school, cause she don't know nothing about the dudes from the St. Ambrose school, but then when the other girls are all like, "Oh yeah, it's still gonna happen," this and that, she devises a way to prevent that. And one way she prevents that is that the board of trustees, because the school is falling apart. And Mrs. McVane, she's asked the trustees like put in money to fix it, but they won't. That's why this merger is happening. And so she said that the students deserve to have a vote if they want this to go co-ed or not. So she like forms like this huge like protest strike thing where the girls lock themselves in the dorm and they refuse to let anybody in. And when it's oh my god, the old security guard, may they all rest in peace, 'cause I know one for sure has died. And when they try to come in, like Tinka, they all have like these lacrosse sticks, and they all like, if anybody comes in, we start swinging. And they start walking towards the dead stuff. And so they are able to find, the trustees have decided, you know what, since these girls are so organized and whatever, they're going to give them a vote. And they vote to not let the boys in. And the end of the movie, it pretty much states that no guy has like, no merger ever happened, and it stayed like an all-female school. But in real life, the school is based off of did go co-ed and stuff. Now Heather Metz, um, I cannot pronounce her name. Um, Matarizzo, she plays Twitty. Pretty much, Twitty is the person who always eats. There's always something you always see with the bigger characters. They're just always wanting to eat and everything. So there's not much to her character. She just like eats and everything. And after she eats, she drinks Ipecac to throw up. And so she's always hungry because she's always throwing up her food. And she is the one who finds out about the boys coming to the school because she got hungry one night, went up into the hideout, but then she fell through like the floorboard and everything. And that's when she overheard the trustees talking about like, the boys coming. And so she's also one of the most horniest girls there. So when she finds out that the boys are coming, she splits with the group. And so it's just Verena and Momo. Now, the late and great Lynn Redgrave, she plays Mrs. McVane. She's the head mistress there. And, it's sad that she died. I remember I saw her in a Peter Pan movie. And so she is the head mistress. She is very stern. Rena is always getting on her nerves and everything. And so, like, she tries her best to keep the girls in line and be the best that they can, because that's a very prestigious school and everything. And when Verena always gets in trouble, she tells her, like, one more, like, outburst from you, and you're going to get kicked out of the school and everything. And Verena doesn't want to leave. She loves it there. She's all like, this is my home. And the lady tells her, no, dear, it's not. And because the thing is, her parents are going through a divorce, and her friends are like her family now. And so Mrs. McVane is like, she does not want the school to go co-ed because she's worked too hard for 30 years to like, be the best that she can and like teach these girls good values so they won't have to like marry a man for money and everything, because she knows the kind of world it is that when a man rules it and women come second to them. And she really hates the idea of it going co-ed, to where she is so furious it's almost to the point where she's about to like quit and everything. And when she's talking to the headmaster from the guys school, she tells him like, because they get into an argument, right? And he's all like, look, I'm talking to the board of trustees, and one of us is going to get replaced. And of course, he's talking about her, and she's all like, I can't leave here. Miss Goddard is my home. Like, she literally repeated the same thing that girl told her, and she told the girl, no, it's not. But then she saw this. See, this is why she always tries to get that other girl, like, so many second chances, because, like, she knows that girl, even though she's a troublemaker, she is a born leader and can help people if only she put her leadership skills to like good use instead of like bad and stuff. And it's a really like heart wrenching scene when she's talking about how she's worked for 30 years so hard just to have some man taking have to kiss his butt. And that's something a lot of women have to go through even still to this day. And that's the whole feminist vibe that this movie has. And so like towards the end of the movie, even the girls that do want the boys, they all come together and realize, this school just doesn't need them and they don't need them and they can be bad all by themselves, you know what I'm saying? And so we gotta get to Abigail, Abby Sawyer, and she's played by Rachel Lee Cook. And she is phenomenal in this movie. It was like the first thing I ever saw her in, other than She's All That. I don't like She's All That. That was not a very good written movie. It's choppy, the pacing's choppy, the dialogue is weird. Certain things just randomly happen, and I still think not another teen movie is better. But anyway, she is phenomenal. She's the kiss up. She is the snooty teacher's pet who does not like none of Arena and her friends, and they all don't like her. In fact, they dye her hair blonde in the movie and stuff. And like she knows they all hate her and everything. And so she wants to be rebellious, but she can't go, she's a fourth generation there. So she has to uphold a certain standard and everything. And so, like, when it does get to school, like dance and stuff, and some of the plot elements in this movie, one of the things they do is try to get rid of Mr. Dewey because he will get them girls if they don't. And so they devised a plan to make because he has a wife that teaches French. So okay, if he's caught being pervy and everything, then he'll get kicked out. So Verena steals like her dad or mom's like bondage or no sex toy book because back then they used to have things in the magazine you can order and stuff like that. So they hide like his briefcase and they put the magazine in there. And so when his wife comes in, she sees it and she's outraged. Miss Mivane finds out, and it's a hilarious scene when she starts looking through the book. But then she knows who did it and everything. And so that doesn't work. But when the flat critters strip him down and put down like a girl's outfit for him to wear, that does it. And so like another plot point is something has to do with Snake. When I say he's pursuing Tinka, boy, he pursues her. Like he shows up at the school dressed like a boat captain with an eye patch, and he's all like, "I'm Tinka's father. I'm here to take her." And so the old lady's about to get her, but then the one girl's all like, Tinka dad has died. So they look at him and he's like, whoop, busted and stuff. And so like another plot point of course are the boys. Now the boys are very pervy. And they basically they have a contest. Who can ever get the girl with the biggest like boobs gets like rewarded or something like that. And so the one girl who's always drinking Epicat, he's making out with her. He pulls down her dress and flashes the boys so they can take a picture. And so this is what causes the flat critters to beat them up, but they just beat them up just to beat them up to take their uniforms and stuff. And so the whole goal is to get the boys drunk. So with that 1,000 proof apple juice, Momo tells them that you want the special punch, just say it and they'll give it to him. So the boys are constantly drinking all night. And one boy's like, oh, did, did you did you try the punch? Like he's so hammered and stuff. And so the boys are constantly drinking. Now, Verena, she's trying to get one of the boys expelled. One that's on the whose grandfather's on the board of trustees. This is Frosty. He is played by Tom Gurley or something like that. He's from like the Sandlot movie, and so she gets him high and everything, and then she takes him up to Abigail's room so she can strip him naked and everything, pretending like he's doing it like with somebody in the bed. But then he ends up like wanting to get with her and make out with her. She resists at first, but then she's curious and then she starts like kissing him. And this is what turns her around. Now, this was in modern day. Chances are she'll probably be like part of the LGBT or something like that. And so, but she comes around and everything. And so she starts like making out with him, and then she gets caught along with him. And so she gets expelled from the school, and he gets expelled as well. Now, as the boys are getting drunk, Momo's all like, "Oh, I got a great way for y'all to get that out of y'all system, some Epicat." So they start chugging that, and Epicat makes you throw up. And so after the boys about to start singing, all of a sudden it's a puke fest, and they show it, and it's nasty, and I can't watch it. I have to turn my head. So when all the male teachers from the other school are there, they see what the boys acting like. The boys get in trouble. They go on the bus, see all the drunken, like the empty alcohol bottles, and so they assume the boys are just drinking and all this other crap. But it does not work. They don't get the only one who gets expelled is Frosty because he was like half naked in that girl's bed. And so, like, the reason why it didn't work is because all of those boys' parents and trustees, they just pretty much bribed the school and made it go hush hush. But there's something that happens in school all the time. So at the end of the movie, we find out what happened to the girls when they get older. Verena gets her magazine that she wanted. Odette becomes a congresswoman. Momo creates the first male contraceptive. Tinka, she becomes an actress and turns into a lesbian. Tweety, she wrote like a book about bulimia. Abby like becomes some type of like political advocate, and like she holds up a bank and still serving her prison sentence because of it. So I think Sarah wrote and directed one amazing movie. It's only 73 minutes, sadly. I wish it was longer. I wish they would have like a sequel showing like the girls as they're older now and stuff. And this is one of those type of movies that you just don't see no more. You don't see coming of age movies no more. You don't see comedies no more. Like everything's about comic books now. You don't have those feel good movies anymore. And this is a really good one in '98 that like slipped a lot of people's notice and everything. If you can find this online, I suggest you watch it. Trust me, you will laugh, you will laugh, you will laugh. Happy Women's History Month, everybody. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.